Hi, welcome to the LaRia Speak Show. Today I have a good friend of mine who's going to come talk to us about being a girl dad, a minister, educator, and a husband. So stick with us. You are in for a great show. Guys, welcome back. Just like I said, I have a friend of mine. This is like my partner in crime, my homie. I'll let you introduce yourself.
What to do, everybody? My name is Patrick Wilson, and yeah, glad to be here. I need to go through all like the fancy stuff. Like,
If you want to, it's your intro.
Listen, I'm here. I'm here. We're gonna make it do what it do, and y'all will figure out the rest later.
Y'all figure it out. So Patrick, let's talk about like how do we really meet? Oh no, let me tell you how we met. So first of all, we worked
How
together.
you gonna ask me the question and then answer the question?
Because I want to tell it because I feel like you're not going to tell the same story I'm about to tell.
Okay.
Do you remember this? You probably remember this. So we worked at the same school, which shall remain nameless. And somebody from the neighborhood broke in a few cars. And somebody came and got me like, hey, your window was pushed down, whatever. I come out to look at my car. You know where I'm going now. This is when we met when we first had the conversation. And then I come outside, y'all know I'm a little ghetto. And I was like, they lucky I wasn't out here because I'm a savage. And Patrick was like, you're 7? And I said, no, I'm a savage. He's like, you're 7? And he was making all these jokes about me being 7. So he kept calling me 7 the rest of the school year. So me being petty, I started calling him 6 because 7 is higher than 6. And I just wanted to be one up on him. And that was the start of our friendship.
Grow up.
It's been great. I am grown up. This is the full version of me.
We've come a long way.
A long way. No, but yeah, that was that story. But Patrick is just like an amazing person. We have a lot of fun when we together, especially at work. I'd be like, you know how you be like your work friends? We pull each other into all types of foolishness. Patrick already know. I'll be like, Mr. Wilson, can you come home? He already know I'm on some shenanigans. If it's not a video or him talking to the students about something crazy or him pulling me in the chapel. He was over chapel. We just
All type of stuff.
business partners, okay?
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, so today we're gonna talk, about Patrick's life. Like, you wanna just kind of introduce, well, I guess talk about your family dynamic. Like,
So yeah, I am married 6 years. I have 2 daughters. I have
hold on, pause. And she bad, y'all.
Oh,
Shout
yeah,
out to
she is.
Kendra.
She is bad. No cap. When she walk in the room, she's the hottest one there. But anyway, that's my baby. That's my boo. I love her. Yeah, I got a 15-year-old daughter. I have a 4-year-old daughter. And yeah, just a man of God trying to serve my family and be the best man that I can be. So
Yes. So you have your wife, your 2 daughters. You the only man in the house, right?
yep.
How is that?
Tough. Tough.
I think it's tough for them, though.
Nah, it's tough for me because as women, I think they can all kind of connect on a certain level and have a certain understanding. Versus me being the only male in the house, and for that not being common for some families, and them having to adjust to having more so my 15-year-old and my wife versus Mello. She hasn't known a house without a father. But them having to understand my perspective and my energy as a man in the house is something that it can be challenging at times.
I mean, but I be over there and I think you be getting on their nerves.
Probably they get on my nerves. I mean, it's I get on their nerves because of how I am, and they get on my nerves. But that's family, that's love, that's the situation sometimes. But yeah, it's definitely a challenge sometimes. And I'm learning how to overcome some of those challenges and how to navigate some of those things right now, actually. So it's pretty interesting.
So did you grow up in a house with women? Do you have sisters, brothers, whatever? And
Yeah,
how's that different?
I grew up in a house with primarily women. My dad, my biological father, wasn't there. I grew up with my mom, my younger sister Bree, and I stayed in the house with my grandmother a lot, my aunties. My uncles was in and out. But I was surrounded by women, you know, most of my childhood growing up. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So you said something about like being a man and having a male energy in the house. Like elaborate on that. What exactly is that? Because you know we see all these social media conversations about masculinity and toxic masculinity and gender roles, but how is that in your household and how does that affect like some of the challenges you're facing?
Great question. So I like to keep it completely a buck, keep it real about everything. I think men, and this is kind of keep me on track because I lose track of the question a lot. I just get to
I got you.
But like I think men are highly misunderstood, and so that's what makes things difficult. Particularly not so much with the kids, but sometimes with my spouse. And I think it makes it difficult in just relationships in general. Women tend to be more expressive, which is fine. They have the green light to express. Women can be emotional. Women, I think, are more comfortable in that space. Whereas men, it's not a place of comfort for us to be able to be open and vulnerable and say, hey, I'm sad today, or I'm not feeling well today, or whatever it is. And so trying to get your counterpart sometimes to understand where you're coming from as a man and your thought process and how you're feeling, and being vulnerable and having to deal with the difficulties of being vulnerable, it makes some situations very tough. And so I would say that would be the one component, because men have a thing where it's like if we don't feel like we can be vulnerable, we don't want to talk. We'll be like, all right, cool, you ain't getting it? Well, I'm not talking. Because it's already difficult enough for us to get to a place to be open and vulnerable. So sometimes that presents challenges when you feel a little bit misunderstood in how you're trying to convey things or how you're trying to communicate with your significant other. That can be a challenge.
Yeah. So I got so many. I can
on.
navigate that in
Come
many
on.
different ways, but I'll stick with the household. So how does that influence how you raise your daughters when it comes to interacting with men or even relationships if you've had those talks? Like what type of things are you instilling in them to help with that?
So with my 15-year-old, she's in high school now. She's a freshman. You know, she has that interest in, you know, the opposite sex, which is, you know, it is what it is. It's natural. And so one thing that I always try to teach is value of yourself as a woman, to know your worth and not to let anybody tear you down or not to let anybody make you less than who you are. And so I'm teaching her like, hey, know who you are, because I think that was a thing for me. There was a lot that I learned about myself in marrying my wife and going through our relationship. It was like, oh man, I didn't even know I was like that. And so, so like now I'm trying to help my older daughter to understand like, hey, like know who you are, stick to your guns and understand, learn people through your friendships, you know, and that's the biggest advice I've been trying to give her versus just jumping off the deep end with emotions and getting attached to people. Oh, he cute or he got, like, nah, like learn people, like be friends with people, like allow those friendships to help you to learn who you are, what you're comfortable with in relationships, and I feel like I got way off your question.
No, it still fits because that's, you know, with learning, I think that's still important because we don't take the time to learn men, we just assume men. And I think telling her that is important because you learn this person as a human being and how they function individually versus just placing them like this is a man, this is how a man is supposed to be. When we're all individuals, of course, there are traits that are going to come with
Yep.
That word.
That
and
word.
Masculinity.
Yep.
And yeah, but we don't always take the individual on top of that. We put that on top of the individual. And who I am is first.
Yeah.
And then all these feminine traits.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna ask you this question. Being a girl, that what's the right age that you think girls should date? Or do, oh, let me throw this in there. And if you had a son, would it be different?
So again, keeping it a buck. So I'm just let y'all know what I'm doing now. So I'm learning. So I can't say like what exactly the right age is. Like this is the first time I've had a 15-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, I got to go through my learning process too. But she just started. She gonna be mad if she see all this because I'm spilling all her tea.
Wait, don't get me. No, I don't want her to get
It's
me.
not too much tea.
No.
I ain't gonna get into the
Keep it
weeds and the
subtle.
details. Yeah, I'll keep it
I don't
subtle.
want side eyes.
Right. But yeah, she just started her first year of high school. And so the conversation that I've always had with her is it's definitely okay to like people. It's okay to have crushes. It's okay to be attracted to others. But I said, when you're talking about a relationship, that's something completely different. And so I said, I want you to take your time getting to that place, because if you rush into a place with, you're trying to be in a relationship with somebody, and this for the adults too, and that person isn't mature enough to handle a relationship, you're just wasting your time, you're getting frustrated, you're investing in something that you wasn't conducive for both people anyway. So right now I'm like, hey, I told her she could not date until she's 16. And part of that was because it's like, you need to get your feet wet in high school anyway.
Yes.
Let's focus on your grades off top. Dating isn't going anywhere. We'll get there. I want you to date. I don't want you to think I don't want you to date, because I do. But let's take our time getting to that place. And for the most part, she's been super understanding. If I had a son, I don't know. I ain't even gonna cap.
My daddy was funny acting.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't even gonna cap. For me, it is a little bit different for boys and girls. Like, I'm super protective of, you know, my daughters and just young ladies in general, because I just feel like they're just, I don't even know the word, but it's like people try and take advantage of it.
Yeah,
You know,
that's so
boys,
precious.
most times, they just want one thing when they're young. And it's like, hey, I want to protect you from this. Boys, on the other hand, if it was my son, I want to teach him the right way to treat a lady, right? And so I don't know if I would differ between like when I would let him date. I don't know. I haven't had a son.
Okay. Well, my family was very different. The boys could pretty much do what they want to do, and we were just so restricted. I remember one time I was in Chicago. I'm always out there. Shout out to my family in Chi-Town, second home. And me and my cousin, we were 15. I think we were getting ready to walk to the store. And her grandmother was like, absolutely not. And she called our cousin, like, go walk them to the store. And we looked like, he's 12 or 13. We're 15. But he walked with us to the store. Like, we taller than him. What he fit. But that's just like how my family was when it came to raising the girls versus raising the boys. We couldn't do much. I mean, I could do much. You know, my mama, she used to be like, that's why everybody's coming to our house, because my mama didn't care. But majority of my family were very much different with girls and boys, as far as standard relationship and all that. And sometimes I don't think it's fair, but I do understand, like what you said, when girls, your role is more so protect them, and then teaching your son to lead. And I know society, y'all ain't in the gender roles, but we is. Mind our business and you mind yours.
Oh, baby.
But you teaching your son to protect and lead, and the women to be vulnerable, because switching that has caused chaos in society. But that's another episode.
Yeah, I mean, just even building up, like, so what I've been going off of is like being able to gauge the situation, you know. And so understanding my daughter's situation, it's like, okay, like you need that time to actually get yourself settled into high school. And I know most of the boys you're going to encounter are not mature enough. Right now, they're just going to be a distraction.
Yes.
So, you know, if I did have a son, my priority would be to teach him like the right ways to actually operate as a young man, and giving him the right area of focus. So it could be similar. I don't know. We'll see if I have a son like that. So.
Yeah. Hey, and I think it's science that women mature faster. It's like studies that show that,
makes sense.
emotionally and all of that. So very different.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit more about marriage. How is married life, and just being, you know, how old were you guys when you got married?
My wife is, I think, 3 years older than me, so I was 25 and she was 28, something like that. So yeah.
Yeah. So getting married in your 20s, how was that? Like, what type of life changes did that produce? What, you know, give the youngins some advice.
Man, listen. So I'm very much the type of person where it's like, well, I know what I want, I go for it. And I'm very ambitious.
Tell the story.
Yeah, I knew I wanted my wife, and so I have no clue which camera I'm supposed to use.
Whichever one you want to.
All right, cool. I knew I wanted my wife, and so I pursued her heavily. And so she actually denied me, y'all. She denied me for 2 years. She know why she denied me. I know why she denied me. But, basically, I came back from college. I had known my wife because we had been going to church for the longest time, since I was like in my teens. I came back from college and I grew an attraction towards her. She was different. At that point in my life, I came back from college and I was DJing and doing all type of stuff, and I was in the club mix and the club scene and all that stuff, and drinking and partying. And so I seen what the city had to offer in terms of those type of women, And so when I seen her aura was just different. She was kind, sweet, nice. She loved the Lord. She was dedicated to her family, and it was just like, that meant something to me, because I always aspired to be a husband. I ain't never just want to be just out here dating, doing whatever. I always wanted to be a husband and have a family. So I'm like, she fits that.
Who shall find a virtuous woman?
Yeah.
Her price is far above.
Hey, but it's something to be said about a woman that values herself and carries herself with that. So for the women that aren't valuing themselves, I would pray that you would get to a place where you start to do that. Don't sexualize yourself. Don't allow men to sexualize you. And that's what attracted me to her. She didn't fit that mold of what everybody else was doing. But this is what happened, y'all. This is what happened.
This is what happened.
So I do music. Some people know that. And so I actually went to college for music. And so in pursuing her, I wrote her a song. I was on the piano and everything.
You serenaded, sis?
No, listen. I never told you the story.
No, I didn't hear this part. I've heard the 2-year chase. We're going to go back to that. I've heard that over and over, but I didn't know sis got a song. So I got to hear the song.
This how
I might play it at the end.
You should play it. I got to find it first. But, I wrote her a song. I recorded the song. And after church, I was real smooth with it. I was like, I got this song I want you to listen to, blah, blah, blah. And so she came to the truck, and I'm going to tell you how ghetto this was. I had no stereo in my truck, so I just had my laptop in there. I was like, we're just going to listen to it off the headphones, whatever. So I played her the song. The song had her name in it, so she couldn't get confused. Like, girl, this song is about you. You know what I'm saying?
You, baby.
And so I'm expecting she gonna hear the song and she gonna get to crying and stuff, and then we gonna go out to eat afterwards. I'm thinking it's gonna be fire. She took them headphones off and she was like, oh, that was nice. Excuse me, where are the tears? Where's the excitement? And so I was like, the song was about you, right? And she was like, yeah. I was like, okay. And she was like, I'll think about it. And then she got off the truck and left, and I'm just like, okay. Where do we
oh my gosh, Kendra. I gotta interview her now.
Yeah.
I gotta get her side of the story.
No,
what were you thinking? Was you weirded out? Did you think he was creepy?
Nah.
But listen, you just set the bar high. I need a song, I need a book, I need a business named after me. I don't know, come with it.
Nah, I ain't gonna cap. I do gotta tell the whole truth. So nothing but the truth, so help you God.
The whole truth.
She had a good reason for not wanting to date me. So I had dated her cousin when I was at the end of my high school stint, but the relationship was very brief, and to me, it did not count as a real relationship. I was young and stupid and dumb.
You being transparent.
Hey, it is what it is, man. I don't like to
y'all hear my story then.
I don't like to sugarcoat and beat around the bush, but that was why she didn't initially show me attention. She was like, nah, you dated my cousin back in the day. I'm like, so? That was back in the day. We were kids. And so that's why she denied me for 2 years. Okay. But for me, I'll tell you how God worked. I asked my wife, I was like, so are you not attracted to dark-skinned dudes? She was like, no, that's not it. I was like, you don't like dudes with locks? Because I had locks at the time. She was like, no, that's not it. I was like, you don't like short dudes? I'm only 5'9". She was like, no, that's not a problem. I was like, so what is it then? She was like, it's just...
I'm perfect. What are you waiting for? Take me now.
Right. And she was just like, it was that one thing. I'm like, that can be overcome. That's why I kept pursuing. If she would have been like, I don't like dark-skinned dudes, I can't help that. Yeah. You don't like dudes with locks? I'm not coming out here. I can't.
Yeah, I was about to tell y'all, stay in them DMs. It took him 2 years, but hearing the backstory, Test the waters a little bit first.
A little bit.
You know, it's a little bit different. I understand. Because I was going to encourage the mess out of y'all. Like, keep messaging her. It's 2023. By 2025, you going to have you a wife. But I ain't going to encourage that.
No, I will say.
Although it would be funny, stay persistent.
If you feel like the person is worth it, continue to pursue. Don't harass. That's different.
What's the difference? Please explain, because I don't think the people know.
So I did make my advances, but I definitely gave her space, you know. And so when things were at kind of like a middle ground, when I felt like I wasn't getting like a real like definitive response, I would continue to, you know, and always being polite, being kind, never being forceful, anything like that, never being overbearing. If she don't text back, don't send another text after that, like, yo, maybe she don't want to talk to you today. I'm gonna cry about it tonight, but you know.
Wait, you had the number?
Yeah, like we knew each other. So
it was in there like somewhere.
Yeah, it wasn't like we didn't know each other. So, but like, you know, it was crazy because, you know, I would make my advances. I'd be like, hey, you want to go out to eat? She might, you know, curveball me, be like, yeah, my daughter's sick, or just not text me back. And so it's like, okay, I had to take those L's, but because I knew the issue was something that I felt like could be overcome, and it wasn't like an attraction issue or like it's just like, nah, like, so I kept pursuing it. And it was crazy. It wasn't until I stopped. First of all, I'm not gonna say that because she's gonna get mad. I'm not gonna say that.
Then don't say it. I ain't getting in trouble with you.
But it wasn't until I stopped caring that she actually switched.
It be like that. So when you get, honestly, as women, I'll be honest and throw myself out there. When a guy is chasing you or pursuing you, when it's respectful and polite and not creepy and possessive, and they stop, you be like, wait, where's my attention? Is my hair not right today? What's happening?
Yeah.
My gosh, you know, you become the topic of the group text. Girl, he asked me out again, but like, where's old dude? I don't know, he just stopped. What is happening? I don't know why we as humans are like that, but I could see that being the thing. But don't nobody come back and start harassing me. That's done harassed me before.
Please don't harass my friend.
Don't start.
Don't harass.
That wasn't a signal. That wasn't an open door. Okay, it's shut. Okay. No, but yeah, I could see that. Okay, then what did she shoot her shot then? So
what happened was, you know, after 2 years of making advances, it just became kind of, it's gonna sound crazy, it just became kind of routine. Like, I'm like, hey, I'm shooting my shot today, but it's because I always did it. So it's like, it didn't feel like nothing different. So again, I played, so like, play in church and stuff. So I'm at church, we both at church, that's where we, you know, met and everything. I'm up there playing the keyboard. And, you know, just out of routine, I was like, yo, you wanna go to the lake? And she was like, sure. And I was like, word? Like, oh,
curveball.
Right, we actually, I'm not getting denied today. Like, bet. Let me go wash the whip. Let me go clean it out, you know what I'm saying? Got it all cleaned up. Spritz, make sure the car's smelling good. Went and picked her up. We went down to the lake, and it was just a good time. Like, I wasn't trying to push up on her. I really was looking at it as like, hey, like, this is just, let's just enjoy the moment.
So what were you thinking though? Like, I can't mess this up. She finally said yes. Is this a dream? Did you pinch yourself?
No, because the crazy part is, like I said, at that point, I had stopped caring. Not that I had stopped caring, but I came to the conclusion for myself, like, hey, it is what it is. So, like, literally, I was like, hey, we just gonna enjoy the day. I'm not expecting nothing more out of this. I'm just gonna enjoy this time with you and your daughter, and like, hey, like, it is what it is. And so we was out there climbing on the rocks and, you know, putting our feet in the sand and just having good conversation and laughs and stuff. And I'm like, this is cool. And she ended up texting me later that night, was like, so I think I like you. And I literally like fell out on the bed after 2 years of advances, like, yo, like, this is it. So that's how that happened.
That's so cute. Okay. And they live happily ever after.
Yeah.
No, but I love that story. But let's chime into the career a little bit.
Yeah.
So tell people what you do for a living.
Right now, I am a dean of students for middle school, 5th through 8th grade at St. Marcus Lutheran School. And so that's my main 9 to 5. I also am a part-time musician. I play for churches. I also have a bootleg fitness business.
It is not bootleg.
It is a little bit.
It's not bootleg. It's a business.
Sure, let's go with that. It's a business, kinda. So yeah, I do that, and then I also, like I said, I went to school for music, so I do audio and engineering as a passion on the side, creating music, writing music, producing music, I do that as well. So.
Okay. So how do you balance like working at a school and coming home to kids? Like.
So honestly, I had to. This is more of a spiritual component for me. I had to learn how to not allow people to burn me out. Mm-hmm. Starting off working in a school, like I was very passionate about wanting to help the kids and give my all to it. But I had to learn how to leave work at work so that I can give what I needed to my family.
Yes.
And that was tough because anybody that works in education, but especially as a dean, we catch the height of all emotional aspects. Whether that's a kid that is going through trauma at home and they're coming through to express themselves, whether that's a parent that's coming in trying to cuss you out, whether that's co-workers that just ain't getting it and they taking their frustration out on you or sending you all that, whatever it is, all of that mounts. And so it's like, that used to drain me to my core to the point where I would just come home and lay in bed and I'm like, that's not fair for my family.
Yeah. So you used to try to recruit me to be a dean and I used to be like, nah, never.
Yeah. I
was running, I already knew. So I admire you for handling that because it's a no for me.
Yeah. It's definitely not for the faint of heart, but I had to learn to build a tolerance, a patience, just an even keel attitude, so that I wasn't thrown off by all of the craziness throughout the day and I can come home and be like, yo, I still got enough to give to my wife and my kids. And it's tough, it's a struggle, so.
Yeah, it's a struggle, but you are making it. So tell the people how to connect with you, like your fitness business, your music. I mean, if you want to enroll your kids in the school, go ahead. But just show your personal business aspects. How would they connect with you? If I wanted to get fit, I need to be. Or if I needed your music services, how do I reach out to you?
I am most accessible through social media. I just restarted all of my social media platforms, so TikTok, Instagram, even Twitter, Facebook. I left that active, but I'm Patrick Wilson Jr. on Facebook, and then on my TikTok and Instagram is _Nova Will. That's NOVAWIL. Oh, it's Nova Wilson. I changed it. Nova Wilson. Sorry. Nova Wilson. NOVAWILSON _Nova Wilson.
Okay, so connect with him. And I don't know why he didn't mention this. We got a podcast coming out, y'all.
Oh, baby now.
Baby inspired. But if you want to talk some real stuff, if you judgmental, just don't even listen. Because we getting a little raw in there. We talk about some real church stuff, real stuff. So whenever Patrick do our audio, it'll be launched. But we're gonna definitely probably come back and talk about the podcast and probably get some of the podcast audience could even be on the show. Who knows? But I'm excited about that media venture that we're starting. But feel free to connect with him in other areas. And I hope he says something to inspire you as a parent, as a man, or as a husband that you may use, put in your little tool bag and apply, or even something relatable. So I always ask everybody on the show, what are your final words? What do you want to, we already know LaRia speaks, but what do you want to speak to the world? What's your last words for our audience?
God is good. Keeping him as your primary focus in everything that you do. If you don't know the Lord, it's worth it to give him a chance. I didn't get into my full story today. Maybe we'll get into that another day. But God literally changed my life. Going from I had a whole, crazy experience before getting married. Where my life could have been completely different. Literally could not be here. And so it was through my wife. It was through my children. It was through my current career that my life changed for the better. And so that was all God, and I give him glory for that. So if there's anything that I can leave with anybody, hit me up on social media. I'd love to express it and help people, and I'll tell you my story. But God is the reason that I'm here today, and I'm grateful for it. And if you allow him to do things in your life, he can make a way for you as well. So.
Okay, well, we're going to have a Salvation Stories episode, and maybe we'll have Patrick come back and talk about that. But thank you guys so much for tuning in to the LaRia Speak Show, and I'll catch you next time.